That was 10 minutes for 13 questions, and we always talk about having like about a minute per question. A lot of you, and I'm not worried about what time did you get done with, but a lot of you were probably done with the first like the 8 questions on the front side within like 4 or 5 minutes, and then moving on to the back within 10 minutes. Some of you had time to answer all 10 questions, go back, kind of look over them. So the hope is that you start to see the time might not be as big of a factor as folks are initially expecting it to be. Again, especially if you understand the passage. There's not a specific benchmark that we're looking for that, okay, with this one you need to get at least 8 questions right. I'm not worried about a specific number for everybody, but it's the whole idea that you start to see maybe a little bit of incremental growth taking place from the first couple times we've done these. So, this one, what we're going to do tomorrow, so on and so forth. Sometimes I think people still cite them out for some of the questions where this is an AP multiple choice test, so the answer has to be difficult. Some of them, the hope is that they start to be pretty apparent to you and you don't overanalyze it. Because if you did understand what you read, then realizing the correct answer might not be all that bad for some of them. So those would be some things that you take into consideration. I would trust your gut more often than not. If you really start battling between a couple, there's a good chance you might be overanalyzing at this point. So what was your initial reaction? No, it's not always going to be true, but I think you do have to trust yourself, reading ability, natural ability, instincts when it does come to answering a lot of these things. So, number 1, which of the following statements is best supported by information given in the passage? What do you think? First, we have to decide on an answer. Of course, then I'm going to go, well, what information from the passage is supporting it? So what do we got for 1? A? Okay. What's supporting it?
How are we to put the scattered searches? Is she mother, wife, cook, critic, actress?
Okay, so you're taking a look at
She's gonna paint
this part over here?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's going to be letting you know that maybe not focusing on one career, skilled at so many things. What about this part? Did not excel at any one thing. For separate answer. Okay. So we got argument for A, we got argument for D. What would you be going for your evidence, Angelina?
For D, it was here. It was in May. She dropped her pen to stare at the wall. Then I remember she cried. She was like, "Do not string on to Henry Hyde for example, to say nothing.
Okay. All right, so you're looking at the quote that we kind of have from her, and you're getting some nods from other people with that as well, so you're not on an island by yourself. For whether you're going A, is there anything that you would go, well, this is why I think A is better than D? Or if you were thinking D, is there any reason why you'd say, well, D is better than A? Because no is right. There is a whole bunch of list of stuff mentioned there. And you're right, that there certainly seems to be an aspect that she does not realize she's a person of these skills. So, Andy, I'm going to go to you, and then Angelina will come back.
It says after the is she a mother, wife, cook, critic, actress sentence, it says each part seems the right part until she throws it aside and plays another.
Okay. So that you would be going in the sense of not focusing on one career? Okay.
I sort of said like 25 because she's really good at everything.
Okay, so where the if it were a rolling pin, perfect pastry, carving knife. So in the sense that whatever she does, she is very good at it. Amanda?
What would D agree because it said that it says she did not excel at any one thing, but didn't she excel at writing?
It seems that she was good at it. She might not have thought she was good at it, but yeah, according to this person, she would be good at it. So she did not excel in any one thing. You're going, but she does excel at things, and that's why you would not go with A.
Couldn't she use the same line until she throws it aside, also as evidence for D, because she wasn't confident in what she was doing, so she tried something different?
Okay. Correct answer is D. All right, it is D. And I was, and no, I'm not upset that you went with A, and you're getting people nodding with you as well. There's some questions where there's always going to be a divide, and this is one of them. Couple things about it. First, I would go, Angelina, you're right so far as, yes, she's clearly frustrated with her inability to write, doesn't fully realize that she was a person of rare talents and gifts. I would have an issue with saying she never focuses on one career. What career does she focus on? I mean, she's an actress. You have Shakespeare, you get Shaw, you get Ibsen, you get nature being a dramatist, all these references to rehearsal, stage. That is her primary career. So she does focus on a career. Is she skilled at other things? Absolutely. You know, whether it being cook, critic, you know, mother, wife, all of those things, in addition to being a writer, you know, mentioning maybe painting and whatnot. And certainly you think about that, you know, I'm a teacher. I'm not here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There are other things that I can do. Just because I do those other things doesn't mean that there's a lack of ability at any of them, but certainly there's just outward of other ideas, thoughts, and processes that are out there. But she certainly lacks confidence, and I think the answer that you have for number 2 hopefully plays off of that. Where are we going with the author's attitude? Sympathetic and admiring that she can do all of these wonderful things. What is the author sympathetic about? Not that she won't choose, she doesn't realize how good, talented she is at all of these things. So certainly, usually you see someone who's good at everything and there's jealousy. Why can't I be like that person? Why do they have to be good at everything he or she does? And in this case, you have that person, EllenTerry, and she doesn't realize it. And so that's where the sympathy starts to come from. Number 3 can be tough. And I've got to guess there's probably 2 answers that we're going to be stuck between for this one as well.
B.
D.
B.
Is it B and D? I don't think any of those are the ones.
I'm not sure which 2 we decided. Maybe there's more than 2. I heard, what, B, D, and E?
D. D is in dinosaur. D as in.
Okay. I'm going to go in B.
You go.
I'm going to go in D.
Okay.
Okay. Come back to it. What'd you do for 4? Oh.
D.
E.
D. D.
Okay. The passage implies that the primary enemy of beautiful colored canvas and the wavering insubstantial phantom, then we have all these things. So looking at it, all right, it is the fate of actors to leave only picture postcards. Every night, curtain goes down, beautiful canvas is rubbed out. What remains is just this phantom, a verbal life on the lips of the living. If we're dealing with theater, what's the problem of what being remembered or what being known is only by those who saw it and can talk about it? What's going to happen when those people aren't there?
No one knows about it.
Everything, no one knows about it, everything is lost. What causes those things to be lost? Because eventually the people who saw it aren't there, so there is the passage of time. Look at number 5. The phrase, a verbal life on the lips of the living, phrase that we're just looking at, suggests what? Performances only live in the memory of those who witness and speak them, so it would make sense if it's only those who see them, the memories, that's going to refer back to passage of time. We're dealing with audience, remembering what they have seen, things possibly being forgotten with 5 and 4. So you go back to 3, which one of those now, since we're all in the same part of the passage, which one of those really starts to jump out? Hopefully, B. 3, 4, 5, you're looking at the same part of the passage. All 3 kind of relate with one another. You can see, hopefully, you can see how the answers start to have some similarities. Now, I don't want you to take 3 or 4 random questions and go, okay, which 3 have answers that all look kind of the same? But if you become reasonably confident with 3, 4, or 5, the hope is then that can start to maybe have an effect and impact a realization on what some of those other answers would be. How about number 6? D, clarify and expand, absolutely.
Yeah.
How about number 7?
E.
D.
E.
Okay, if you were like me, you put D and you got it wrong. If you're like Dylan, you put A, you got it right. Good job.
It's all
I hurried on that one.
Yeah, it's referencing all the way back.
Correct. Yes. And I think Phantom is the sneaky answer. At least I'm going to say it's the sneaky one because it's the word right before it. But we're still dealing with that whole idea of fate, which again, all of these questions are dealing with that concept. Number 8 should be straightforward. And this is one where I think people can kind of knock themselves out too much. Why would you say nothing? Nothing? Person, you're frustrated. Because she doesn't think that she can write.
I was stuck between A and A.
So is I.
Dylan, I like how you crushed the hard one, but then you.
That was so easy.
The words bubbled off, peeled off.
No, I'm sorry.
She's frustrated because she doesn't think she can write. In reality, she's able to come up with words
Ease and spontaneity.
easily and quickly. So ease and spontaneity. Number 10. B. B. Yeah, same sentence structure is getting repeated over and over. 11 and 12 can be a little tough. I think these are ones where people might get a little stuck.
C.
C.
C. C. C.
C.
C. Senorita.
Yes.
I see.
Almost lost.
Now, 11 is correct. 12 might then start to make a little bit more sense, maybe.
I put E, but I think it's D. I think it's D.
Why do you do like a self-portrait? You're reflecting
And
upon
it was D.
D.
I knew it. What was
And ends the hot streak.
And then 13,
A.
Cody, you're on A. Hey,
That's pretty
if you got 7 out of 13, that's passing. If you got 8 out of 13, that's a strong 3. You're right at like that 61, 62%. 9, definite 4, strong 4. 10, definite 5. 11, 12, 13 would certainly still be those definite 5s. So again, don't beat yourself up for ones that necessarily you get wrong. But what are the reasons for it? Do you start to see maybe where there's misinterpretation, maybe you overanalyze something, maybe you got tricked, like on number 7 the way I did with hey, there's the easy response, but not recognizing the complexity of it. If you read the passages, if you take your time, the questions then start to become much, much, much easier. Read the passages first. Think about the passage before even looking at the questions. I think if you read the questions first, you start to psych yourself out before it begins to happen. You have the passages for tomorrow. You can read them. You can mark them up. You can bring them in tomorrow and use them with the quiz.
For 4 and 7, I think both, like I got you. Like, you realize you see the critics in the audience are the same, like the same. It's like life is the definition of Phantom.
Yeah. So,
Like
so we're talking about number 7 first, or
7 and 4, because I missed both. Like, would you
Okay.
think the critics are the audiences because you have to see it to critique it?
I mean, a critic is definitely going to be in, the audience.
Yeah.
But there's not really she's critical of herself.
Okay.
But you don't really get mentioned to like the critics and their viewpoints of her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would say 4 and 7. I mean, they're all in that first general area. They're 2 totally different questions. Because 7 is just sentence structure, understanding what that whole it thing is referring to.
Yeah.
But like, did you get 3 and 5 right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's one where I'd go, if you see 3 and you see 5, both kind of dealing with those who are seeing it, watching it, their impression, why would those impressions kind of change? Because of time. It's not going to change because winds of critics, like whatever they're feeling at the time, they're going to write it down. But you saw it, I saw it, once we're no longer here to talk about it, now those viewpoints can't really be shared anymore. But I wouldn't worry about 7 and 4. I would say don't worry about any kind of connection between the 2. Those are 2 totally different types of questions. But 3, 4, 5, seeing the relationship would be kind of you need to pass the other.
And then, is there anything else I'll be missing?
No, it's just going to be that.